Hey one hail, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to round out the Wave 1 Transformers Age of the Prime Deluxes with Solus Prime. We're going to take a foray into the original 13 once again. We're going to talk a little bit about Solus. We're going to compare her to some of the more modern takes on some of the primes that we already have. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of my customs, and we are going to compare this newest version of Solus Prime to perhaps one of the most popularized versions of Solus Prime, being the MMC's Salvia Prominon. There's a lot to digest and a lot to explore in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one hail, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you are at it, light them up, baby. Hit that notification bell. Helps me out a ton, let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that is in the description down below. Also in the description down below, and if you are in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And this is Solus Prime. Not much to say, her box is her box, but the meat of the, I guess the one who wields the forge, the meat of the character of Solus Prime becomes a lot more interesting, especially when we compare it to some of the other primes and, like I said, MMC's Salvia Prominon. Because there's a lot to explore, let's not waste any more time. Let's head over to the table and take a closer look at her. And if you've been keeping track here on the channel, you will know that this is the end of the Wave 1 Age of the Prime Deluxes reviewed here on the channel. Let's kind of give the quick overview in case you're wondering about content that I've covered so far for Age of the Primes. When it comes to the, I guess the Titan, I'm not planning to do the Triptychon because I already have the Titan's Return, but it's excellent. Make sure you get a version of Triptychon. When it comes to the two leader classes, I didn't do the blue Grimlock, but we all know how fantastic that mold is. I did review Megatronus though, about a month ago, and that was episode 1256. Fast forward a little bit to the Voyagers. I didn't do the Armada Red Alert because I don't really know the character, I don't have any connection to him, but I did do Prima, and I looked at Prima in episode 1258, so also about a month or so ago. Maybe a little more. Maybe a little more. Then I looked at, in terms of the deluxes, I looked at Fugitive Waspinator or Wasp, and that was in episode 1260. And very recently, thanks to our good buddy Daryl, I took a look at both of the aerial bots in episode, or episodes, I should say, 1270 and 1271. And then that brings us to this, Solus Prime, who is the last of the Wave 1. In Canada, some of the Wave 2 stuff has been showing up, so if I happen to get, say, Vortex early, if I happen to get Alchemist early, cool. Crasher I'm not going to redo, because I've already looked at the Crasher when I did it with the Velocitron Speedia 500 set, and that's being, of course, reissued as part of a Wave 2 Deluxe. Solus here has nice packaging. We can see her in both modes here on the front, even though at the time that she would have been alive, transforming wasn't actually a thing that they could do. They learned to do that later. Here is a close-up of her holding the forge over on this side. Your typical stuff over here, and on the back, both of her modes, as well as, naturally, her artifact being the Forge of Solus Prime, which comes in 3 parts in package. But as far as the packaging itself goes, that's it. Oh, we've got ourselves a double-sided sheet of instructions here. They're pretty effective for the most part. And here we have the Forge of Solus Prime. There is a peg over here in case you want to take it off and use that 5mm peg. You can also do that. If you're wondering about the design of this, if you look at her depiction in the Covenant of Primus, she's holding a forge that looks very much like this. I think most of us probably recognize the forge from Transformers Prime as the most popularized design, but this is pretty explicitly her aligned continuity Covenant of Primus design. In terms of the three parts, the purple I'm holding on to at the bottom here is a part, then I guess the handle is a part, and to put it in her hand, you really have to kind of push the handle up through her hand, and then you would put this piece on over the top where a blast effect, that seems like about the size of blast effect, maybe 3 millimeter maybe. The purple up here is all paint. The purple down here is not. This is not painted, but the purple up here is, and the yellow. And I guess I don't know if that little arrow thing there is yellow or a hint of gold. But yeah, the top part of this pretty much all painted. I like it though. And here we have Solus Prime in all of her glory, and she looks pretty good. We will, of course, compare her to MMC Salvia Prominon as we go here. And I'm going to show her with kind of the Primes lineup so far, and talk about how I do have the rest, sorta, kinda. But this is the way she looks. Of course, that's in her hand, no problem. Now, you might say, hey, do you remember last year there was a Doom and Destruction, Mayhem Attack Squadron, 3-pack really, and it had a couple of deluxe Insecticons, and this guy, this is Malleus Minotaurus, which is apparently Solus Prime's assistant. This is not the Forge, apparently, though I think there's an argument for using this as the Forge as well. I have seen some people who have taken that top off and taken that out of her hand and taken this guy and put it up. If it works, I've seen it, yeah. Blast effect just came off, that's okay. That up through the hand, and then taking this piece of the Forge, and I think it will go on. I can't get it to go on, but interesting. I did see where it went on there, but I mean, even so, if you want to use that as the Forge, I mean, you could, right? So, just worth noting, because I think a lot of people kind of forget about Malleus Minotaurus, oh, whatever his name, Malleus Minotaurus, I think it is. It's a bit of a tongue twister. So if you got him, I don't know, pair him with her, I suppose. In terms of the Forge, I'm just going to leave that off to the side again for now. Hold on, now that I got him off, I just wonder. I'm going to look now. No, it looks like it should go on. Weird. Oh no, it does. There you go. Here, let me move her over just slightly for a second. Yeah, this is what I've seen some people do, where they have the actual Forge piece on the bottom and the hammer piece here, and they put it in her hand either this way or this way. I was just struggling to get it on. My bad. Here she is next to a number of other Primes that we've had so far. And yes, indeed, we have her front and center. Next to her, we have Alpha Trion. I know we're getting a new Alpha Trion. This is the one that came in the, I think it's Hero Shall Rise box set with Vector Sigma and Orion Pax. I don't see any reason to replace that Alpha Trion because I think it's pretty much perfect. But if you missed it or you don't like it or you want to replace it, then the new one hopefully will fill the bill for you. I expect the new one to very much lean into his look in the Covenant of Primus, but I could be wrong. Prima up here, of course, Vector Prime over on the side. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 13 that we have kind of had updated now. We know that we're going to be getting some of the other ones as well. For my purposes, currently, the little micro master, I'm going to call it a Titan Master version of Micronus, is my Micronus Prime. Makes sense. Micronus is the Prime of Micromaster, so it makes sense. I currently have the Build-A-Figure Macadam from Cyberverse as my Alchemist, but I'll probably actually use that as the Bartender Macadam once I actually get the Age of the Primes Alchemist. Onyx, I have an amalgamation so far of a bunch of fossilizers, but can't wait for the new Onyx. I have a custom Quintus Liege, but again, not a big deal there because they too are being redone. In terms of Nexus and Amalgamus, I don't know how they're going to do Amalgamus. Nexus, I might just keep the one that I have that's a customized combiner. And of course, the 13th, everyone is saying, oh, it's Star Optimus Prime. It's any Optimus Prime. The only reason that Age of the Primes is saying it's Star Optimus Prime is because they're doing a Star Convoy. But it's any of the Optimuses, right? The whole idea is, you know, Optimus gave up being Optimus and became Orion Pax again until the day when, you know, we would need to have our lightest hour, our darkest hour lit, and he'd reclaim the Matrix and once again awaken as Optimus Prime. And of course, basically that's what happened, right? So if you wanted to throw an Optimus in here, any Optimus of your choice, Star Convoy, one of the Legacy lads, the Power of the Primes, Leader Evolution, whatever Optimus suits your fancy, you could throw it in here and really have about 6 of these guys so far. Anyway, I digress. I've kind of babbled on a little bit about the various primes. Here she is also next to Salvia Prominon. That's right, MMC Salvia Prominon. Has been my Solus Prime for quite a while. I love her. She was most people's Solus Prime for quite a while. And shockingly, when I hold both of these in hand, Salvia feels more dense and a little more hefty, but on the scale, she only clocked in at 53 grams of plastic, as where the actual Solus Prime clocked in at 63 grams of plastic. Both, as far as I'm concerned, are wildly too small for a true blue deluxe. However, if you were to compare them naturally, the Age of the Primes version is definitely more cost effective. The price that the MMC version gathers on the aftermarket it's silly. I mean, it's ludicrous, to be honest with you, for what it is. She's glorious. She comes with 2 blasters, 2 swords, and her forge, though painted gold, very much looks a lot more like the Transformers Prime version. That said, across comics and fiction, from the different comic continuities to the, I guess, machinima, like Prime Wars trilogy, to really hints here from the Covenant of Primus version, the Age of the Primes one is definitely more in line with a modern coloration and design for Solus Prime. Just so happens that the MMC creative take on Solus Prime is beautiful too. The MMC's plastic is more rigid, but she also has some more articulation. She is not bad. Would I advise going back and trying to find her when the Age of the Primes one exists? Well, how about we focus on that Age of the Primes one and see how she scores? Because I can tell you, the MMC one scored real well. I looked at the MMC Salvia Prominon back in episode 762. 762, and I got it courtesy of our good buddy Razor Bear. She's magnificent. I adore her. So we're going to take her out of it. That's an excellent mold. It was used for like an RC and an Elita 1 and stuff too. So, in terms of looks here for Solus Prime, I'm going to try again. It's difficult to sort of score it. I said that she looks like modern interpretations, and she definitely does. So let's try our best to see what we can kind of come up with here. So, starting from the feet, working up. Sometimes the feet are gray, sometimes they're purple. I'm going to give it to her. The overall top of the foot and the shin, that's usually purple with the gold detailing. The gold detailing is not always there, but it's usually there. The front hip skirt, or yeah, I guess it's hip skirt. Front hip skirt, that's very much an aligned continuity thing. The added gold detail comes from like the IDW iteration, for example. And I think some of the gold also probably comes from the Transformers 1 iteration. The torso being the purple and stuff that it is, that's pretty much accurate. Her head sculpt, largely accurate. Granted, on the box, her eyes are colored pink. We got green. I kind of like the green, though, to be honest with you. Even though pink is the color that they should be. Man, it's really hard to kind of do this. I'm going to say that if you know various versions of Solus Prime, you're going to recognize this as Solus Prime. I'm going to give it for sure, I'm going to say a 9 for sure. I'm going to say a 9 for sure. Let's do the articulation. So the hardest score is done, that 9. The articulation we have, oh, by the way, this can also peg on the back. I talked about the peg that was in the actual forge piece. You can open that out and put it in this slot down here. And not for nothing, if you're not familiar with Solus Prime, the forge lets her like build things. I I guess, tools, weapons, that sort of stuff. Like, things that the Forge is known to have built. The Star Saber, for example, that Prime uses. The Requiem Blaster that Megatronus uses. I don't know. The Quill that Alpha Trion uses. The Terminus Blade. The Enigma of Combination. The Apex Armor, or God Bomber, if you will. Apparently that was made by, like, the Forge, right? And Solus. So she's a craftsperson. Okay, so a 9 so far. The head here goes left, right. Can look up and not really down. The arms can go all the way around. Well out to the side. The shoulder pad moves up and stuff out of the way. Very nicely, actually. Doesn't get in the way of anything. Like, T-pose all the way out, baby. And you can adjust these however you want, really. There is a waist. I don't remember if it's under the hip skirt or above it. Above it. There's a hip skirt. Not hip skirt, there's a waist. The hip skirt is in 3 pieces. I really, really appreciate that. Because it's in 3 pieces, that means, for example, I can lift up this piece and the leg can go all the way forward. The leg can go, well, I mean, back as far as this backpack is going to let it. The legs can go all the way out to the side. We have a thigh swivel. We have a knee. We have a weird lower knee ankle thing. Like, I don't know. Are we gonna call that a double knee? I don't think it is, but and we do have ankle tilt. Some people have said that they find the ankles here like to pop out. This one does a little bit. I sanded it down a little bit. It's a lot better than it was. Sometimes it pops out accidentally now, but it's in there pretty snug for the most part now. And I feel like that there was another... Oh, yes. These little panels here on her shoulder pads, I guess. One of them, I think it's this one over here. Mine likes to come off, but I think that's a my mold issue rather than a general mold issue. So, oh, and I don't think I said this. Bicep swivel, elbow to just shy of 90 degrees, and a wrist rotation, and you can even bend the wrist in. So, in terms of articulation, man, I don't know what else I could want, really. I thought that the front hip skirt was going to get in the way. It really, really kind of doesn't. I am going to say... Oh, she's looking up in the sky. I'm going to say... And as I turn her around, like, there's very little... There's little to no hollowness, actually. Also, I didn't mention this. These panels on the inside of the forearm are pretty thin. They like to pop off, too. I think she... I'm going to say a 10. I'm going to say a 10. Because I don't think I could want anything else for the articulation. So a 9 and a 10, she's a 9.5. Some of the pieces that I point out that pop off, I think if she had probably even 10 grams more plastic allotted to her budget, that I think you wouldn't have had those issues. I think a little more robust plastic would have made those tolerances and those connections a little more snug. I don't think we had to go full on Voyager or anything, but a little more snug. Okay, so let's do the transformation and get out of here. We're going to pick up the 2 hip skirts. We're going to turn the center hip skirt to the side, and we're going to bring that up through, and we're going to lay that down on top. It doesn't peg in or anything. If you push it, it'll go down between the 2 again. So just kind of sort of leave it there. Then we will... Where do I want to go next? I guess I can go down here. We're going to open out that tire. We're going to fold in that foot, and we're going to close that tire back around, and we're going to turn the whole thing, to the side like that. So again, we bring the tire out to the side, we straighten the foot up behind, we bring the tire back in, and we turn. You will notice that we have a little peg right there, rectangular peg, and there's a peg hole over here that corresponds. Sometimes I peg them first and then I bring them to the back. Sometimes I don't. So I'm not really going to do it yet. I'm just kind of sort of going to leave them there. Okay, make sure that those legs are sort of squared up as best as we can. Now I'm going to rotate the whole waist around, and you'll notice maybe that I'm holding this at a funny angle. It's because I find that she is very much a bot where it matters if you're specific. So I'm trying to make sure her hips are lined up with this piece, right? Okay, I think that's okay now. We'll see as we go anyway. I'm going to put these together, and they are a pretty tight connection. And I should be able to bend at the knees like this, which will bring this down, and then we bend the, I guess, the ankles in, and they will peg into these slots here on the thigh, or they should. There's a rectangular peg here and here that should go into the slot in the silver part of her thigh. So we're going to, and I just popped that one out, which was something that I talked about earlier. I said it hasn't really happened very much, and there you go, making a liar out of me. So let me put this one back on. I was afraid of that, where I had them already put together. I find that happens more if I already got them put together before I fold them up. So yeah, let's fold them up and tab them in, and now let's tab them together. I'm going to tab both these together because this isn't working for me right now. Just give me a moment. There we go. So now they're together, pegged in on this side, pegged in on this side, up here kind of behind the tire. And this is what the back end looks like. Okay, so now that we got our sort of kneeling there, we can deal with some of this other back stuff. So the backpack here should be able to lift off, and we bring an arm forward, and we bring an arm forward on this gray hinge here. This whole piece here, I was supposed to do that before. Hold on, see if I can do it without. No, I'm not going to be able to do it. So before I did all of this and turned this around, I was supposed to pick this up and bring out that section and fold her head in. I forgot to do all of that. You have to do all of that with that section first, then you can turn all of this around. My mistake. Then you can bring all of this up and solidify it all in, and you should be able to bring that back on its hinge a little bit there. Now, okay. And this will come up on this hinge in a bit. Actually, let's bring it up now. We can bring it up now. It's fine. Okay, so now that we've got that done, is this lined up again? Yes, it looks to be. This was a mistake on my part. I should have done it before I turned the waist. My bad. We got the shoulder pieces out. The whole gray armature comes out. We can fold up, a piece of the forearm, and fold that all the way out, and fold the hand in. And over on this side, same thing. The little panel on the inside of the forearm, we can fold that all the way out. I had to shave this one down a little bit because even just folding it out like that, it wanted to pop off. And straighten those up like that. Now, we should be able to next open out. See if I can do this. Yeah, open that out and bring it around and up, and open this out and bring it up. Okay, now the idea is that these shoulder pieces should fold in and kind of fill in under right here, and then this arm piece will go in on the side with this kind of locking in just under the window. Let's see how smoothly that goes. I'm going to try it on this arm over here first. So this piece should basically fold up over and collapse in. It's a bit of a nuisance to figure this hinge out up here. I'm not gonna lie. Does not want to work with me this morning either. hang that arm down. There you go. There you go. I had to get it up and over, and you'll know because this panel right here is now just under the windows. With that there, I should now be able to bring the door up, and basically there's a little, let me turn it this way, there's a little tab right there that goes in right here on the leg, and then this will sort of fit in right here. That's the idea anyway. So it all goes in thusly like that. I got it solidified a bit, but you get the idea. On the other side here, same thing. We have this piece out. Bring the arm down. It's the easiest way to have it out of your way. Bring this up over and collapse it on the shoulder. It went in there no problem. And now this comes up and tabs in on the leg, and this folds in on the side. These like to pop off on a lot of people's copies, but while I have to do a little bit of fit and finish here, and by the way, if you didn't already have it done, push this piece in. When you do so, it tabs in two little notches under here. But basically, in the end, boom, here we have Solus Prime in her vehicle mode. And honestly, while there were a number of potential things that I pointed out during the transformation that could be issues, it's generally pretty smooth. Yes, you could pop off one of those rectangular pieces. Yes, you could pop off an arm piece, especially when the little hole in the arm piece is trying to go tabbed over the tab on the door. I would say do that last. But for these pieces, what I found was I just had to sand down. It was just a little bit of flashing on the, I guess like the friction hinge down right here. I just done a very light sanding. In terms of that panel, there's not much I can do about it. It's just a variance on mine. The only other issue that I had is I forgot to open this out before I turned the waist. In terms of that ankle there, coming off, I mean, yeah, it happens. It's not a big deal. It's solid when it's on. It's solid in robot mode. It does not just fall off. Maybe I still have a little bit more sanding to do. It's definitely better now than it was. Back here also on this leg, I guess, is a rectangular slot. You can use the rectangular tab right here on the forge, and you can tab that into the slot there, if you can line it up. I hate trying to do this stuff on camera because I can never line it up on camera. Ever. There. I mean, it's not hard to line it up, but like, there you go. That's it in on the side, right? I don't think it's very elegant storage. It's like a cannon on her side, I suppose. She rolls like a champion though, so I think that's really neat. The big thing with her transformation is make sure that everything is squared up with the hips and this backpack. I'm going to say the transformation is, I would say it's a 9. It has potential. The engineering is a 10. But because of the smaller size of the materials, it makes a couple of things fiddly and a couple of tolerances not the best. So it's not bad. I'm going to say it's a 9. She was getting a 9.5, 9.25. This is an excellent Solus Prime. Should you get this or the Salvia Prominon, I think they're comparable. I think they're excellent in their own ways, but in very different ways. But if all you're concerned about is the most accurate looking and effective Solus Prime, the Age of the Primes, certainly in a cost-effective way, will absolutely fill that bill. Know what you're getting into, because the Salvia Prominon doesn't have any tolerance issues really compared to the couple on her. And if yours has major tolerance issues, wait for a later run. Return her and get a different copy. I don't know what to tell you. Or do a little bit of legwork and give it a little bit of a fix. Yes, she's excellent at a 9.25, but it comes with a caveat that you might have a few tolerance issues that you'll have to deal with first. And here we are once again, and here they are. So, the MMC one is excellent. She has, you know, a couple of extra, I'll say, points of articulation, notably in the torso with some ball joints. The one imperfection that I find with her is that the chest doesn't like to stay pegged in at the very top. I think I kind of got it there now, but it doesn't take a lot for that to come off. That's her one issue. Other than that, her articulation is pretty great, and her transformation is pretty good. But then we have this one, the newest one. And price comparison, there is no comparison. She is definitely more affordable. And when we talk about Solus Prime, shockingly, I thought that this front hip skirt was really going to be a hindrance, but it's absolutely not. All of the articulation is there. There's like no hollowness. Granted, I do think that the issues that I talked about of things popping off on the arms, which doesn't happen to mine anymore since I shaved it down a little bit. But I think if she had a little more mass in her, I think that this plastic could have been a little thicker, and I think it would have worked a bit better. Same goes for these pieces, though in the transformation here I actually didn't pop one off, so that's great. Granted, one of these lower pieces, like that's all the way around, and you can see it stays in fine. I think this is the one that popped out, and going all the way around, and again, it stays in fine. So since I've kind of shaved, sanded down a little bit, I think it stays in pretty good. I might have a little bit more work to do there though, because of course you saw in the review that it did, in fact, still come off a little bit. Assuming you avoid the tolerance issues, the transformation here is kind of brilliant and fun. Just remember to take this piece out and flip the head back before you turn the waist around. Barring that, very smooth transformation, excellent articulation, and a look that very much homages kind of the modern interpretations of Solus Prime. Sure, I adore the MMC version, but honestly, from a cost-value analysis and comparison, she is probably the way to go in modern times. And you know what? That's okay, because she's still pretty great. Let me know what you think about the age of the Primes Solus Prime. Did you think she was great or not? I know I certainly do. Yeah, I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you are in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button, stick around and have some fun with us here on the channel, and don't forget, not for a moment, not for a second, that you right there, you do make a difference in the world, and I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams, on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way, inside the videos.